Picture this: a November night in 1981. Hollywood royalty sips champagne on a luxury yacht off Catalina Island. But by morning, one of America's most beloved stars would be found floating face down in the Pacific Ocean, wearing only a nightgown and down jacket. Natalie Wood's death sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. But what if I told you that her mysterious drowning was just the tip of the iceberg? That beneath her glamorous surface lay secrets so dark, they would make even hardened Hollywood insiders gasp. Today, we're diving deep into the hidden world of Natalie Wood. A world of studio manipulation, forbidden affairs, and a tragic ending that still haunts Tinseltown over 40 years later. The making of a star. Natalie Wood wasn't born a star, she was manufactured into one. Born Natasha Gurdin in 1938 to Russian immigrant parents, her transformation began before she could even spell her own name. Her mother, Maria, was obsessed with Hollywood glamour and saw her daughter as a ticket to the American dream. At just 4 years old, little Natasha was thrust onto movie sets, her childhood sacrifice for stardom. By 8, she was already sharing the screen with Maureen O'Hara in Miracle on 34th Street, captivating audiences nationwide. But here's what the studio publicity machines never told you. Behind those sparkling brown eyes was a little girl living in constant terror. The Hollywood machine was brutal in the 1940s and 50s, and child stars were treated as commodities, not children. Natalie developed a lifelong phobia of water after being thrown into a lake during filming of The Green Promise when she was just 10 years old. The director wanted authentic terror, and he got it. But at what devastating cost? As she blossomed into adolescence, the studios began crafting her image with surgical precision. Natasha Gurdin disappeared entirely, replaced by the more marketable Natalie Wood. Everything about her was scrutinized and controlled. Her weight, her clothes, even her romantic relationships. Secrets behind the spotlight. By the 1950s, Natalie Wood had become Hollywood's golden girl. Movies like Rebel Without a Cause opposite James Dean cemented her status as one of America's most beloved actresses. But what the public didn't know was that her personal life was spiraling into complete chaos. The studio system didn't just control Natalie's career, it controlled her entire existence. When she fell in love with Elvis Presley during a passionate affair in 1956, studio executives quickly shut it down. Elvis was deemed too dangerous for Natalie's wholesome image. Instead, they arranged publicity relationships with more suitable leading men. But here's where the story takes a genuinely dark turn. Natalie's first marriage to Robert Wagner in 1957 seemed like a fairy tale to the outside world. Two beautiful young stars, deeply in love, living the Hollywood dream. The reality was far more sinister. Behind closed doors, their relationship was tumultuous, marked by jealousy, infidelity, and what those close to them described as Wagner's increasingly controlling behavior. The marriage crumbled by 1962, and Natalie sought solace in the arms of Warren Beatty. But even this relationship was tainted by Hollywood's toxic culture. Studio executives were furious about Natalie's newfound independence and began spreading vicious rumors to tarnish her reputation. They couldn't control her love life anymore, so they decided to destroy it instead. Shocking details. The secrets Hollywood buried. What happened next shocked everyone who knew the real Natalie Wood. In the mid-1960s, while filming Inside Daisy Clover, Natalie made a shocking confession to her closest friends. One that the studios worked overtime to bury. She revealed that a prominent Hollywood figure had sexually assaulted her when she was still a teenager. The identity of this predator was whispered about among Hollywood insiders, but the studio system's code of silence ensured it never saw daylight. This traumatic experience explains so much about Natalie's later struggles with relationships and trust. But the studios didn't care about her psychological well-being. They cared about protecting their investment and the industry's reputation. Even more disturbing was how the studio system enabled and covered up these crimes. When Natalie tried to speak out, she was told in no uncertain terms that doing so would end her career. The message was crystal clear: stay silent or be destroyed. But the secrets didn't end there. In 1969, Natalie remarried Robert Wagner, and to the outside world, it seemed like a romantic reconciliation. The truth was far more complex. Those close to the couple reported that Wagner had become obsessively jealous and possessive. He monitored Natalie's every move, controlled her finances, and systematically isolated her from friends who tried to warn her about his increasingly erratic behavior. Friends later revealed that Natalie had been planning to leave Wagner again. She had secretly consulted with divorce lawyers and was making plans to take their young daughters and start fresh. But then came that fateful weekend in November 1981. The final secret, that night on the yacht. Here's where our story reaches its most chilling chapter. On November 28, 1981, Natalie Wood, Robert Wagner, and actor Christopher Walken set sail on Wagner's yacht, the Splendor, for what was supposed to be a relaxing weekend getaway. Also aboard was the boat's captain, Dennis Davern. The official story has always been that Natalie accidentally slipped and fell overboard while trying to secure a dinghy that was banging against the yacht. But Captain Davern's account, which he kept secret for decades, paints a very different picture. According to Davern, Wagner and Natalie had been arguing violently that night. The fight was so intense that Wagner smashed a wine bottle in rage. Walken, clearly uncomfortable, had retreated to his cabin. Then, in the midst of this heated argument, Natalie suddenly went missing. But here's the most shocking part. Wagner allegedly waited 4 hours before calling for help. 4 crucial hours when Natalie was fighting for her life in the freezing Pacific waters. When investigators examined Natalie's body, they found fresh bruises on her arms and legs. Injuries consistent with assault, not an accidental fall. The coroner later changed the cause of death from accidental drowning to drowning and other undetermined factors. Wagner refused to cooperate with the investigation and hired high-powered attorneys instead of helping search for answers about his wife's death. The truth that Hollywood buried. Natalie Wood's story is more than just another Hollywood tragedy. It's a damning indictment of an industry that chewed up and spat out its brightest stars. From the moment she was thrust into the spotlight as a child, Natalie was never allowed to be herself. She was a product, a commodity to be bought, sold, and ultimately disposed of when she became inconvenient. The secrets surrounding her death mirror the secrets that plagued her entire life. Sexual assault covered up by powerful men, abusive relationships enabled by a culture of silence. And finally, a mysterious death that those in power preferred to sweep under the rug rather than investigate thoroughly. In 2011, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department reopened the investigation into Natalie's death. And in 2018, Robert Wagner was officially named a person of interest. But justice delayed is often justice denied. And the truth about that night in 1981 may have died with the secrets Natalie took to her watery grave. Today, as we finally begin to reckon with Hollywood's dark history of abuse and cover-ups, Natalie Wood's story serves as a haunting reminder of how the entertainment industry has always protected its own, no matter the cost. Her legacy isn't just the beautiful performances she left behind, but also the questions that still demand answers and the courage it takes to speak truth to power, even when that power seems insurmountable. So, what do you think? Was Natalie Wood's death really just a tragic accident, or was it the final chapter in a lifetime of abuse and control? Do you believe Robert Wagner's version of events, or do you think there's more to this story that Hollywood's elite have worked for decades to keep buried? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more shocking secrets from Hollywood's darkest corners.